so bad, you know. They wonder why I don't say anything done.
Yeah. Okay, ladies. Anyone want any more snacks before we get started? Look at grab it. We got plenty over there. Do you just want me to bring the snacks to the table?
No, it's not a good idea.
I know.
I can put them up here.
We're good.
You're good? You
Getting up
sure?
and walking
Those
is
gauze
better
are really
than
good, but
just-
I
Okay,
don't need
then
them
you just have
in front
it
of my
here.
face.
Yeah. So tonight, we have several ladies here. We're gonna introduce each other. We've already gone over the rules of what we are allowed and not allowed to say. And also, we have to keep in mind, we have to speak up because you're talking to each other, but the camera, you're not talking directly. So speak up if you can, not scream, but like, you notice how I'm talking a little louder than I
Yes.
normally would. Yes, do you notice that?
I feel in trouble.
So I'm gonna start with Rhonda, we're gonna go around the table, and we're gonna introduce ourselves, we're gonna tell a sentence or two about yourself, how many cubs you have, or grand cubs, and also how you know me. So,
Okay.
Rhonda.
Okay, I'm Rhonda Miller. I have three cubs and 3 grand cubs, and I know Tanya all my life. I'm her cleaning lady.
Yay, Rhonda! Woo! Like a support group. Yeah, we'll clap, yeah.
I'm Jennifer Brown. I work, of course, at Carl Feather Homes, of course. I have 2 cubs, 2 boys, Zach and Brian, and I have from Larry an additional 3 children, 10 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren.
Holy goodness, yay! I think she's gonna beat us all in this. Go ahead, Kim. Oh, I introduced you
My
already.
name is
Go.
Kim. I like the party now.
Like long,
Kim,
long
remember
part,
that,
yeah.
I have 2 cubs.
2 cubs,
Yes. And
no grand cubs for
no
you.
grand cubs. And I know you because you're my mom.
I gave birth to
You
you.
gave birth to me,
Yeah.
so
Yep.
I've known her my whole life.
You need to verify that with someone else.
No, yeah, I think we're good.
Of course, I'm Tanya Miller, and I know all these lovely ladies because they've been a part of my life for a long time. And I just thought it would be a good time to get together for some fun and laughter. I have 4 cubs, and soon to have 5 little grand cubs. So,
Whoa.
yes.
Who's pregnant?
Who's pregnant? Oh, no, not Kim, not Kim, not me, not Lindsay. Oh, no, not Zach. Yeah, they've already announced that they're pregnant, so we're good. Yeah, Gibbons is gonna have one. Gibbons and Tricia, yep, yep. Go ahead.
Okay, my name is Lindsay Miller. I have 1 cub, Jack, and I know Tanya because she's my mother.
That's right, I gave birth to you too.
And Jack is the internet sensation.
Jack
Yes,
is.
Jack is well known throughout
Yeah.
County.
Lindsay can be out in public with people she doesn't even know, and they will know Jack and Lindsay.
Yeah, I've had that a lot at Giant Eagle.
Yeah.
Oh, I know you. You're Tanya's daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And
know you
your
from
grandson,
Facebook.
Jack.
Oh, I ran into
And we have to remember, don't say the names, go ahead.
the lady that works at Giant Eagle.
Okay, yes,
She mentioned
Yeah.
how much she loves talk time. So.
yeah, that's good, that's good.
Shout out to the lady. at
Yeah,
Giant
shout out, you know who you are.
I am Nikki Miller. I have 2 cubs, and I know Tanya because she is my aunt.
Yay! Nikki practically lived here
Yes.
for
Yes,
summers
I
at a
did.
time. So,
My
yes,
second home.
her and Lindsay had fun,
Lots of fun.
lots of fun, so.
Love Infinity.
Yeah. A lot of good times in the basement here.
Yep.
Okay, my name is Mary Osmond, and I have 7 cubs. 6 of them are boys, and I have 1 girl. And I have 9 grand cubs, and 3 of them are girls, and 6 of those are boys. 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. Yeah, that's how it goes, you know. So boys run. So That's me. And I know Tanya because I used to work for her years and years ago.
You did indeed, and you
That's
were a
right.
great salesperson.
Yeah. And I
Mary had a lot of get up and go. She
Yeah.
you wanted to sell.
I wanted
You
money.
wanted money. It wasn't that you liked people that much, it was you wanted money. I know, you like people too.
I like to talk to people.
Yeah, you
I
had
know.
fun. You had fun, so. Yay, well, we got a clap for Mary. Yay, Mary. All right.
My name is Andrea, and I know Tanya because my mom used to work for her many years ago.
Mhm.
And I'm friends with Kim.
Yeah.
Kimberly. We go way back.
Way back.
I work in the dentistry field, and I have one cub and no grand cubs.
No grand
Thank-
cubs.
I hope not.
Not that you're aware of.
12.
Yay! All right. Okay, ladies, we're going to get started. I wanted to get started by reading, kind of giving you an idea of what Mama Bear Syndrome is like. And it's just a 2 little page note here from a lady who is explaining it. And just see if you can relate to this. So, Lindsay, no cheating. No cheating. Lindsay's looking at all these little notes. Okay, here's what this lady says Mama Bear Syndrome is. The act in which one's inner beast releases itself on its prey to show dominance stemming from the protection instinct. Let me get rid of this Halls, I'm sorry. Basically, I'm going to show you who is boss. That's the Mama Bear instinct coming out. She says, I am writing this post without any permission from one of my subjects. Don't worry, I know her well. I think she will laugh at this topic and realize very quickly who she is. I bring her up because she is the first peer within my circle that I recall seeing signs of what I like to refer to now as Mama Bear Syndrome. Sometimes Mama Bear is sly, as she mumbles under her breath about a child at a birthday party who keeps pulling on her child's new shirt, and other times I have point blank seen her attack the situation, growl on, like growl, you know, swooping in to take charge and save her child's day. I do not think I necessarily realized where this sense of pride and protection came from, because she has always been the protector of situations of wrong against family or friends, girls. In fact, when I know I need to complain to customer service, I just call her and she pretends to be me. We have literally sat giggling and listening. Sure, there was a grown man crying on the other end of the phone, and once I actually saw her leap over sand dunes at the beach to confront another relentless mama bear looking to pick a fight. Forget this, something we were even in the wrong for. Have you ever protected your children even when you know they were in the wrong?
Yeah, I did that.
Yes.
Mamas do that. For years, us childless folks have chuckled in amazement at her ability to remain dominant in situations that would seem to most out of their control. I have on many occasions wondered where she gets her fierce need to protect from. Then I became a mom. Mama Bear Syndrome. It is really, friends, the first time I experienced it when baby Lo was less than a month old. It was winter and cold and flu season was running rampant. I was super cautious and overly protective, rightfully so though. And when a snotty-nosed child or stranger in the grocery store reached their hands into the car seat carrier, I would pull back and firmly say, "Don't touch." The words would easily come out of me and there would be no remorse. I even recall being in the waiting room of Lowe's doctor's office waiting for a checkup, and when a hacking child kept inching closer to my little baby, I literally extended my leg, foot out, to keep a barrier from my baby, all the while giving the mother the ultimate stink eye. Here is what I believe. Mama Bear Syndrome lives in the inner depths of your belly, where it has been burrowing or hibernating for years. It is waiting for its awakening, which typically occurs the moment labor pains kick in. Then, only then, is the beast ready to claw its way out. As Lo starts to get older and interact with more children, I find myself always nearby, watching, waiting, lurking in the woods for the moment Mama Bear needs to come out. I look back with my own mom and finally understand. When I was in middle school, by the way, worst years of a young girl's life, and I would come home crying from being picked on or left out, my tears would turn to pleas as she would pick up the phone to call the other girl's mom. "No, don't," I would yell, but it would be too late. Mama Bear was already growling into the phone. When I was in high school and my competitive nature caused nights of stress and tears, when I was not always the best or number one, she was always there to tell me I was and why. And when my heart was broken for the first time, woo-wee, my mother did not hold back her ill will words. I actually felt sorry for the guy after she was done with him. Mama Bear syndrome, there you have it. I am sure some days it will come to Lo's advantage and other days not too much. But I hope she and all of our children know that one thing is for certain. This inner bear comes from the pure love for our cubs. Attack on, Mama Bears, attack on. I thought that was a cute story. So that's what Mama Bear syndrome is. And I think now that we are all mothers, we know that we have experienced this syndrome coming out. And I was just going to see if everybody would like to share a story or two of a time where you felt that instinct coming out.
Why are you looking at me?
You
have 7 kids. You.
I'm trying to think because there was, I was always protecting. I was always yelling at them. The Mama Bear was always coming out.
Speak up, Mary. So your Mama Bear was coming out yelling at your kids, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it was always at them. But I always called it, or when somebody was coming after my kids or doing something, I always called it the mother hen syndrome.
Okay.
You come near my kids, and that mother hen was going to come and pluck your eyes out.
Yep.
Don't you dare come near my kids, because I'm going to pluck your eyes out. And that's how I felt. I felt those were my little peeps, and don't you dare do it.
Well, see, you could yell at your kids. That was
Oh.
look at what's back there.
Yes,
I think she was smiling.
I could grab my kids, turn them over my knee, and beat their rear end, and that was okay.
That was commonplace.
Yeah, you are allowed to paddle their rear end. Yes, you are. But you know what? But let somebody else do it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Let
That's the way I
somebody
was.
else do it, and then I'm gonna be.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, I have had times where.
Remember that time that teacher hit me with the switch in 3rd grade?
Tell me about that
Because
one.
someone's report card got ripped on the bus and I got the paddle for it. And it wasn't even me, it was the girl sitting with me. You don't remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
That's normal because there's a lot of things the kids tell me I don't.
That was in, no, that was 4th grade. That was 4th grade.
And I probably went in and ripped them a new butthole, didn't I?
remember.
Butthole. Yeah. I said no cussing, but butthole is allowed. Yeah.
Yeah. You can pass.
Yeah, that passes. That goes.
Another time I went into school because they started no book bags.
No book
Yeah.
bags.
No
Yeah.
book bags.
Yeah, I got
and
it
my
time for you.
my son had been sick. He'd been in and out of the hospital, and he was sick, and he had to carry the little strainer with him and everything else. So, what's he supposed to do? You know, when he has to carry it because in case of urgent. You know, if he had an urgency to go to the bathroom,
Yeah.
I gotta run to my locker first, and
Yeah.
and he wasn't allowed to carry a book bag. And I've made the newspaper for that. You know?
Oh,
You will let my son carry a book bag. You
Didn't he
know?
end up carrying a clear one? They
Yes,
said
do you know who won in the end?
Mama Bear.
Mama Bear.
Do you remember that?
No, you were the one though that I remember in 5th grade we didn't get to eat lunch until late. It was like pushing 1 o'clock I think until the 5th graders got to go to lunch. It was really late. And I remember I would be so hungry
Yeah.
and they would not let us bring any sort of anything. You're not allowed to have any snacks, nothing. Mom changed that around. She was the one that then after that everybody got to have snacks. After that we had a little snack time. You could just bring some. I think goldfish is what I brought.
Yeah.
But that was because Mom made a
Go
steak,
Tanya.
and then we were able to have a snack because it was late. It was too late.
1 o'clock is too late
It was
for
pushing
children.
1 by the time you got to
because-
lunch and actually got to eat.
Because you figure till you eat breakfast
Yeah.
before you get on that school bus.
Like 6 o'clock.
That,
sometimes.
that's
I
that's
mean,
the
you-
time
yeah,
my son
it
eats
was
lunch now.
late.
The 7th grade class, they eat lunch at 1 o'clock.
They
That's
have
what
to
Brian
have
did last
something
year.
before
Yeah.
that. That's
Yeah.
just
I remember
late.
that. But yeah, Mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's probably still in effect.
Yeah.
It's the Tanya rule.
It's the time. Snack
It was
before
snacks
lunch.
allowed.
Yeah, snacks
I
allowed.
think it was all like 5-minute break too.
Well, that was that. I can remember because I don't really have like much of a like mama bear syndrome yet because mine's still young.
Yeah.
And then Lexi, she's older, so I haven't had to deal with that yet.
Oh,
But
it's
I can.
coming.
Oh, I know it will be. But I can remember when I had my first job. I know you remember this. And I used to get like rave reviews, got a raise, and then it switched owners,
Yes.
and it was
Speak up.
they fired me on my it was like a snow day from school. I was home and they told me just not to come in the one day. And I had told Mom that and I was upset and Mom's like, "Don't worry, you just go back to sleep." And then by the time I woke back up, she's like, "You have your job back." She's like, "You go into work tomorrow." So I don't know what that conversation was.
Well, I remember, was it the same guy that I then ended to tell you weren't going back to work? Or was that a different job?
It's the same job.
Okay, so I got your job back, because I remember going in to talk to him before.
Yeah.
Got her job back. Well, then, this guy had a problem with you from day one.
Yeah.
When he took over the business, you got rave reviews, that you were loved by the other people.
Yeah.
They let you do your homework, whatever, you, very good. This guy comes in, he doesn't like you for whatever reason. I had my suspicions what the reasons were.
Yeah.
But, it wasn't confirmed until he accused you of stealing.
That's right. He thought I stole something.
And you had told your father that maybe a few days before I found out about it. You must have mentioned it to him. And then casually, he mentioned it to me a few days later. That they had accused you of that. And your dad just sat there and I said, "What?" I'm like, "What?
Why didn't you tell me?
What? They accused her why? And then come to find out, they even had a work release fella there who was going to work, who was getting out of jail to go to work. He was allowed
Yeah.
to go out of work. That you would have been too young to be left alone in the store. There was always somebody there with you.
Yeah.
So I ended up, he was not at his home at the time, but I got a hold of his wife, who also was the owner.
Yeah. Yeah, they were.
His name was Richard, and I shortened it up
Yeah.
to the nickname for Richard, and that name came out of my mouth, and I made it clear of his actions were that of a
Of a
nickname-
Richard.
Of a Richard. And I said, and I knew that I do believe, and I can't say this for certainty, but I thought because you were black,
Yeah. Well, what?
he was
I did
he was
everything
prejudiced
I was
because
supposed
you
to
were
do.
doing a good job.
Yeah.
But I think he had an issue there. So you were getting ready for work that morning. I came downstairs and said, "You are not going back there to work." Because there was just no way. I couldn't believe your dad.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
He was
his
so cool, calm, and
demeanor was
collected.
totally, the mama bear kicked in. He was just calm, I guess, as can be. I don't even remember what he said to you. Apparently,
I don't even remember.
he probably didn't approve of it, but probably didn't think much of
Yeah.
it. But as soon as I heard that, it was just like some sort of eruption occurred.
Well, they
And-
accused me of stealing. Like,
A
you knew I
stealing.
wouldn't have, like, why would I
Why
steal?
would you even need to steal? It
Yeah,
wasn't like
that was
we
the purpose
came-
of me having a job so I wouldn't have to steal.
And then you had, it wasn't like we were living in squalor in the streets. So, you know, there would have been no reason. But that just, yeah, I went nuts.
Did he say he had proof and stuff? Like,
Oh
was he
gosh,
making-
no. No, they didn't even check the drawer every day. This was like after 3 or 4 days. They only checked it every so often. He even admitted that.
Mhm.
And they were only short like $20.
Yeah.
Heck, people don't even know how to count change anymore, you know?
Yeah,
They don't.
It's true.
So,
It
oh
is.
gosh.
Don't get her started on
Yeah.
it.
I mean, back in the day, we didn't have, you had to do math in your head.
And count
It was-
backwards from what they
Yeah,
gave
you
us.
did, you
Yeah.
had, and when somebody gave you that oddball quarter and you needed the change to do whatever, you calculated everything. You-
He didn't say, I can't take that because the register it will mess me up. Boom.
Yeah. But no, so that was one of the stories I was gonna tell.
Oh, I'm
But
sorry.
no, that's good.
There
I
are
was
many.
glad there are many. I
Yeah.
was glad you remembered it though, but anyone else have anything they would like to
Do
share?
you guys have anything? Rhonda,
I know you
have
have
to.
stuff. I know
Rhonda,
you
I
know
have one.
Rhonda
I
has-
have one. I could tell you. My boy played football, and it was senior night. Played another team.
Speak up a little bit.
Played another team. He played
You're
another.
cut off.
He played. He played another team, and the boy kept hitting him. Referee seen it. Referee never said a word about it to him. Finally, and I would have never ever did this, but I actually stood up at the football game and yelled, squalled as loud as I could, kick his.
Yep.
And I
We're not
yelled.
allowed to cuss, but there was a few cuss
Yeah,
words flew.
Yep,
Yeah.
I had a few. Probably wasn't that nice, but I just told him to do that, and his grandpap yelled right after me.
Yeah.
And after I told him that, my boy decked the kid. He get kicked out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So he listened to Mama and then got kicked
He
out.
get kicked out. But
It was worth it.
It was
yeah,
so worth it.
everybody said they said he went down in style because my boy would never hurt nobody.
Yeah.
And another fella, he tapped me on the back and he said that boy went down in style. He
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
Yep. But that was the first I ever did anything like that. I would have never, I get provoked about things, but I would have never stood up in a whole crowd of people, which some of the teachers remembered me saying it.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. They probably talk about it now. Do you remember that Rhonda Miller?
Yeah. Crazy Rhonda.
Yeah. Oh, I even know some of his friends if I run into them, kids who
Do you remember Rhonda the time you yelled?
Yeah, they'll say, you remember the time, you yelled this, they could all hear me. I mean, I was mad.
Well, yeah, when you stand up and
Yeah,
yell.
yeah. And it was just like one of them instincts that I couldn't sit still.
No.
It just went bam, I just flew right off the handle.
It's just almost like something just takes over.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
normally I never act like that. But
No.
boy, that night, I bet you, it probably got quiet and I didn't realize they was probably just looking at me.
Yeah. Right.
Good.
Wow.
No, but that's just it. The other people might not have understood who wasn't, the
Yeah.
mother. But I think most mothers can relate to having that happen.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
school knew her by first name by me and my brother's senior year.
Oh, wow. Well, there comes Mary
Before that.
Osmond.
I think before that.
Look out,
That
here
was
she
calling.
comes.
The principal, they had on a personal level though. They knew each other.
One poor principal, my one
Was
son
afraid of
in
you.
this school, poor principal. My one son, when I would go in there and I would always say, now what did they do?
Yeah.
I would be nice for a few minutes and
Yeah,
then
nice
after
would be
that,
first.
nice would be first and I'd want to know what was going on. And
Yeah.
after that, I'd just flip,
Yep.
So all this went on when my older kids were in school. Now my grandsons.
And that brings some stories there.
Yeah.
My grandson get in school and my one son, he's the one that always gave this principal a bad time.
Yeah.
And my son gets a phone call from the principal that he gave a bad time to because his son was in the office. Now this kid, my grandson, never gives anybody a problem. So when my son got this phone call, he thought, oh no. Colin never does anything. But Tim had to go see.
Beaver.
What, like one of them signs, they'll think she's cursing on them.
Principal. My son had to go see the principal. He always gave a bad time because his son was giving the principal.
Oh, that's funny.
I've used her name on many occasions. No, we don't need to bring Mrs. Osmond to this. Would you like me to bring my mother in to help me with this?
Yeah,
we don't
no,
need to.
no.
We'll fix that.
So she can be Mama Bear from a distance. I mean, all they have to do is say the name and
Yeah.
she's still protecting you.
I got many a calls of my son being in lunch detention because of something stupid because of a substitute teacher.
Yeah, oh, okay.
And I've had to use I think I'm going to bring my mom to this. No, we'll take care of it.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I think I'm gonna put my mom into this.
No, we'll take care of it.
Yeah,
Problem solved.
yeah,
Now I know who to use.
yeah. There you
Do you
go.
want me to bring Mary
Just-
Osmond
no,
into
no.
this?
Say,
Yeah.
I'm going to bring my Aunt Mary.
Or your aunt. That'll be good. Oh,
Because they know she won't let up.
Yeah.
I won't. I will just keep because I'm an advocate for kids. I want to put my application in because they need aid so
Sure.
bad. I'm an advocate for kids. I'm
My
sorry,
son says
I
no
want-
because you'll embarrass them.
So I want to go in and be an aide. I feel
Sure.
like I can do that with one eye.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm kind of excited on that. But when my house burnt, I lost my diploma. So I'm waiting on that to get back from
Oh,
the
for
state.
goodness sakes.
You know, so it's like, how long does it take to get that back from the state? Come on.
Yeah.
You know, I'm waiting on that. But no, I just can't wait. But I'm an advocate for kids because I know lots of times it's like, I know the kids can be ornery and they
Sure.
can be rotten. They can be. But when the mama bear comes out, you never hurt a child, you never hurt an elderly person because let me tell
Yeah.
you. Oh, right, Andrea? Yeah.
Do I look scarred? I turned out pretty good. I have a good job. I have a roof over my head, a healthy kid, a good life.
Yeah, yeah.
Might not be married, but I'm still doing good on my own.
That's good, yeah.
Fine.
Yep.
So, what about you?
Well, I've always had I think from my phone, as soon as we had kindergarten, I think from that point on, we've always had issues. Brian has.
Speak up a little bit.
Brian has ADHD, and we found out a few years ago he has autism too, so he is on the spectrum. And over the years, we have found that it's not always Brian's fault. There's others that are pushing the envelope. So I have came to be on first name basis with the principal and have to basically have several talks with him. Usually Brian tells me if he's done it. He's very forward with me and says, I did it.
Tells
you know,
himself.
And yeah, he's just straight up with it. And he cried and he told me he did not do something, and they pushed, and I pushed back and I said, is it a bullying thing? And next thing you know, that was the end of the discussion, and everything was on hold because I mentioned bullying. And I said, if that's the case, they are kind of putting him in a kind of a block himself and saying, okay, well, he's already bad, so we know to blame him for these things.
Yeah. Been there.
And that is a big no-no on my, if he's done it, he should be punished. I'm all for that. But I don't believe that just
They're
because
labeling
he is, if he's in with somebody and somebody smacked him on the head and others have seen it, he is, he should be told that that's, but that's not how things go. And now he's in high school, and we, so far in the last 2 years now, have not had any issues because we have great teachers in the area that he's in, and they watch and they talk and they see how everything goes. If there's a need to step into the situation, he has good coping skills, so that actually really helps. So it's helped freed me up, not going to the school all the time and finding out what was going on.
Yeah.
So that's always been a big issue. We held him back in kindergarten because he was having problems right away. And that was a big issue, that the school does not want to hold kids back. They don't want to do that at all. And I feel that if he could not make kindergarten, he could not make first grade, second grade, and up. You need to have that foundation, and they felt that there was not the need. All they seen was, we need to push him on because he's gonna be older. And you guys have seen Brian, he's just now getting to the place where he looks like he is in the age he's supposed to be, you know, the grades and stuff, so he's a little guy. So it didn't hurt him, if anything, over the years, it's helped. You know, it's helped to put him, I don't know how to say it. Basically, I think he makes better choices. I think his grades are so much better than they were over the years. So I think that's actually helped things too.
Yeah.
He's more in social, I think that helps as well. So like Mary said, it's a big advocate thing. I mean, I've had to go to meetings. I've had to, with the insurances, I've had to fight with insurances. I mean, it's almost a never ending thing. And it is. It's very frustrating when you feel like everybody's against you and you are by yourself. So it is so it's always one thing, if I can help somebody else out, since I've been through it, it's always nice to help out. But it is a big thing, and it's not always because they're bad kids. There's maybe some other issues along the lines. And
Teachers talk and they label kids.
yeah. And I think that they go forward up through the years, that stigma kind of stays with them. So, you know, but yeah. I mean, I'm the first one to say, I know he's ornery. I've seen him do things. I'm not any way from that. But I know exactly what he says. He has a good heart.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
know when the mama bear needs to come out, and that's when it comes out.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and you've had to worry a little extra about him because
Yeah.
of the autism and things like that,
Yeah.
where kids are more likely to pick.
Yeah.
People don't have as much patience.
Yes.
So you've had to be the protector and make sure that he gets through
Like what he
school,
needs.
what he needs, that type of thing. And thankfully, he has a mama like you.
Yeah. So it's a hard work.
Yeah.
I wanted, you can't just sit back and watch it because nothing ever happens then.
No,
So we've had meetings and everything. So it's over the years we've just been fortunate. I'm very fortunate to be where I'm at because Tanya lets me off anytime I need. So it does, that helps and that helps. But I don't know what anybody would do by themselves and not have a support system.
I use my mother.
Yeah. Well,
So
Mary's
yes,
a
I'm
good
gonna go.
support. Yep.
That's what I'm gonna do next time.
Yep.
Yeah, you just use Mama Mary.
Yeah.
Mama Mary. Hey, anyone out there, if you're having problems with your kids, your grandbabies, turn them over to Mama Mary. She'll help you out. What about you, Lindsay?
Easy, I love that.
Well, Jack's only 4. He's gonna be 5, so he's not even in the big school yet. He's in a small preschool. But I can already tell, I'm already worried about him being on the bus, and he's really small. He's real skinny and petite. So
like
I worry that he's gonna be picked on because he is so small. But there's been times where maybe I see a kid take a toy from him, or he'll mention well, today the babysitters, this kid didn't let me play with them today, or they won't let me play, and I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Why not? And I know that they're not, they're just kids, so I have to but I can already feel that.
You can feel it.
I remember there was one time that someone mentioned to me when Jack had a
Hemangioma.
birthmark.
Yeah.
It's considered a birthmark, but it's called a hemangioma, and it's it's raised from the skin.
Like a strawberry looking
Yeah.
thing? Okay.
And his, for some reason, ulcerated, so it started to really be painful, and he was only 6 months old. And I just remember one day, all of a sudden, I grazed it, and he was just screaming. So I went through this whole process trying to get to the right doctor, and everyone kept telling me it was nothing. And I was young; I was only 23, so I felt like, in some points, I feel like people, at least at the beginning, kind of looked at me like, she don't know what she's doing.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what she's doing. But all these doctors told me, no, rarely do they cause pain. Rarely. I'm telling them, I went to 3 different doctors. And they're like, no, I'm telling you, this thing is hurting him. Someone needs to tell me what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
But anyway, I finally got to the right doctor, whatever. Got him on medicine, and now it's healed. But I remember someone telling me, well, why don't you just get that surgically removed? And I said, well, the doctor, I'm listening to the doctor. It's not a simple, you just take it off.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
deep.
it was
It's
big, it was
deep
deep,
into the
and it was
skin.
raised, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's a process.
So I just remember thinking, there again, I don't know if they mentioned that because they thought, well, she's just young. She
They-
probably
yeah.
needs to, because it was unsightly. I mean, it was big. He was so small, and it just was like that big,
Yeah.
and it had
It was
ulcerated. It was
huge,
like
yeah,
it
it
had
started
almost
to-
broken open.
Yeah.
And we had to I had to dress it every day and put stuff on it, and he had to take medicine around the clock. Like every 8 hours, I had to give him
That was a blood
blood
pressure,
pressure medicine.
Yeah.
So it was an ordeal. But I remember that comment. I was just like, real.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing. I'm the one who made this doctor's appointment. I'm the one who was
Yeah.
advocating for this.
Yeah.
That's what I
I
was
did
like.
this.
Can you just leave the room?
Yeah.
You know what's going on? I remember that was just a simple comment, and it probably wasn't said like.
They probably
Really, in
didn't
all
mean
reality,
anything.
it was probably just a. Well, why don't you just have that cut off? You
They
know,
probably didn't even truly know what it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, I know, but you
Yeah.
just my first
Yeah.
thing.
Your
was
first
like,
thing is,
excuse me.
yeah, hello.
My baby is
I was
not
gonna
going
say,
under the
that's my
needle.
Yeah.
Knife for that. But I can just every so often I'll little things so far.
Yeah.
But I can tell I have moms
You had that.
because I would definitely.
Yeah.
I would definitely.
Yeah.
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 You can feel it. You can feel it. Like
I know.
Yeah, I can just imagine, like Rhonda, you said about just standing up.
Yeah.
I would definitely do that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's you
I
can
would
tell it's
definitely
there.
do that. I know I would.
I called the teacher for Kivens that one time, and I don't know if Kivens got. I mean, I can call Kivens. He'll know. But I called the teacher because somebody wrote something on his paper that was like an obscene thing.
It's a phallic object.
Yeah. So they wrote that there, but he got the blame for it. So, and then I come to find out that somebody else was doing it on other ones, but they didn't get in trouble for it. So, just he did. So when I realized that just he did, and I think he was going to get a bad grade for whatever paper it was or whatever, I forget. But I do recall of calling the teacher. And I don't think she was as fond of Kivens as I was.
Well, I think she was a little like. She reminded you of like the principal in like Matilda. Like,
Oh.
Yeah, if anyone knows the principal in Matilda. So, a beast, yeah. So I called this person, and as soon as I said who I was, she goes, "Oh, it's you, Kivens' mother." Right there, the nice just flew right out the window.
yeah.
Nice was gone, because I said, "Hi, so and so. This is Kivens Beecher's mother."
No, you didn't speak like that.
Yeah, yeah, not
She had a
quite like
customer
that.
service voice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But as soon as she said, "Oh, it's Kevin's mother," that was it. I just went nuts. I just went nuts. I went nuts on the phone. I don't even recall of what all I told her, but she ended up, I believe, hanging up on me. I don't even recall because I just went into a mad frenzy. It was just like words were coming out of my mouth. I don't even remember what I said. But anywho, his grade did not get dropped.
Okay, mission
So,
accomplished.
mission accomplished. Like a fool
Well, actually, you actually gave me the mama bear the one day too, because when I told you about Brian wasn't able to go on a place.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And you were like, "Oh, I don't think so."
Yeah.
She was yelling, and I thought, "Wow."
Okay, all right.
Yeah, because I'm like, well, maybe I'm in the wrong, and she's like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
So actually, you even did it elsewhere too.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I mean, you felt strongly about it too. So actually, it kind of goes.
Yeah,
You
you
know.
can. Yeah, I
Did
think-
Brian get to go?
Yes, he did.
How about
I
you,
said
Nikki?
I'll drive him myself if I
I
have
remember
to.
one time you were taking me to Walmart to get my ears pierced. Do you remember this?
I remember you
What do you
getting your
think?
ears pierced at Walmart. Why I was taking you, I don't remember why, but I did.
Because you lived here in
Yeah,
summer.
you were
Because you
taking-
lived, yeah, that's
I-
right, you lived
I
here.
was living here. And they wouldn't let me because you weren't my parents.
Oh yes, that's right.
I remember you walking out and just like ranting like it's ridiculous.
And that probably was a legit.
Like,
Yeah.
that's like
Yeah.
a legal reason. It's like legally you weren't allowed to do
Legally, I'm
that.
not allowed, but I was still ranting.
We had the same last name at the time.
I know. I could have just said I was your mom.
That's what you said too whenever we were walking away. You're like, I should have just said that I was your mother.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh my
Well,
goodness.
I want
that
Andrea to know, you see, I wasn't the only crazy mother around.
Well, I guarantee you, she never walked into the school in her robe and curlers.
Oh,
Oh my gosh, Mary's gotta
Mine
tell
were
us
here.
about the robe and curlers.
And then I'm over on the other side of the gym with the cheerleaders. They're like, Andy, isn't that your mom? I'm like, nope.
I do not know her.
No way.
Well, I disappeared into the wrestling room, and she came out. She said, "I'll be back for you."
Well, no, this was my son, one of my boys. I had said, listen. And what he had done, I don't even remember what
I
he
know
did.
what he did.
What did
Let's
he
just
do?
say he got in trouble. Was told he was to come straight home from wrestling practice, and he just thought he didn't have to because the coach told him, "Don't listen to your mother." And he went to practice, and we all know who the coach for Ridge was.
And I had said to him, if you go to practice, I am going to show up in my robe, my nightgown with curlers in my hair, and I am going to pull you out of there. Now, that's not a mama bear thing, but I'm going to go up against the coach. Buddy, who's in charge here?
That's
It's
right.
not you.
Well, there again, that is the mama bear.
You
Basically,
want in
I
that
am going to
episode?
show you who is boss.
Yeah.
who is boss?
Who is
Yeah.
boss? Mama's boss.
And so I go down to the school. We didn't get off the school bus, and I go down to the school, and I've got my nightgown, house coat on, and my slippers, and it's a big pink furry house coat.
Some from like the 1980s.
And I leave it hanging open because I've got a long nightgown on, and I put curlers in my hair, and I go down, and I went into
I would
that
have paid to
room,
see
and I
that.
said, "You now." And I told the coach, I said, "I'm the mother."
Yeah.
I said he was to come home.
Nice.
Out the
Nice.
door he went. And into the car. I said, when I tell you to come home, I mean come home now.
She's having flashbacks over there.
So many fun.
So many.
But he was told to come home, and I just thought, this coach is not going to do this to me. I'm the mother.
Yes.
When I tell them something, those teachers
But remember
are
who
not in
that coach
charge.
was. He thought
I
he could do
know.
anything.
Well, but a lot of them think they can do that, you know. But I'm still the parent.
That's
here.
right. Yes.
I'm
Yep.
the
It was
parent.
funny though.
To this day, the kids still talk about that, and you know.
Here's another one.
Said they're in their 40s.
Do you remember the home ec room?
Yes.
Right across, it used to be across from the office, so you could see who went in and out of the office
Absolutely.
from the home ec room.
Mm-hmm.
The FFA did their annual apple butter boil.
Yeah.
And my brother Tim, now this was my senior year, my mom is pregnant with my
Noah.
brother with him. Now he's
Okay.
22 now. So she's literally 8 months pregnant. Like she's like a
I
week
was
from her
9 months pregnant.
well, she was due any day. It was like 2 or 3 days before her due date or something. Well, apparently my brother must have threw an apple at some kid and it hit him in the hand and he cried like a little snowflake and of course he got in trouble for it and the kid cried about him. So they took him into the office and they called my mom and we're sitting in the home ec room and someone says, Andrea, isn't that your mom in the office? Nope.
Nope, not my mom.
They had to take him home because he threw an apple in it. And the boy, I don't know what he did. He went like this or something and happened to hit him in the hand.
Oh.
And he cried like a little girl.
Meantime, the regular teacher had been on a sabbatical, and that's the one he was just fantastic.
No, that teacher was there.
No,
Mr.
there was
Flynn was there.
no. He was no.
Yeah, he was. They don't do that without him because he was head of it.
There was a different guy there that time. You can ask your brother when you go home. Anyway, and my son didn't really, because this guy didn't know what he was doing really, you know, and he wasn't like the regular teacher. And the kid got splashed a little bit with applesauce, and Tim got splashed with applesauce, and he was going to have to go home and change his clothes and everything, and they said they called his mother. So when I got to the school, nowhere to be found. And I'm boiling because I'm having those Braxton Hicks.
Oh, yeah.
She was due any
Sure.
day, so you're past
Goodness.
Braxton Hicks contractions.
Yeah.
Those are
And-
just
Having a baby.
Right, and so I'm down at school and I go in, and the one lady that I go to church with, she seen me coming in. Now my car's broke down, so my parents have to take me down to the school, which makes it worse.
Take their pregnant daughter.
Yeah, it makes it worse. And they have to take me down.
Calm down.
So I
Yeah.
calm down, little kitty. So they have to take me down to school, and I go in, and they said, well, he's out there. And I said, he's nowhere to be found. Search the school, he's nowhere around, you know. So they search the school, no place. So I go out, and they said, well, just bring his clothes in while I'm change his clothes. Well, in the meantime, they find him, and I walk through those doors. Now, he's much taller than I am. I walked through those doors, and I went like this, grabbed him like this, picked him up against the wall, and I said, listen, I had to come down here. I couldn't find you.
And I'm pregnant.
Yes. And your grandparents had to bring me down here. Now, go get in the car, because I'm not just letting you change
I
your
just feel
clothes.
bad for
You're going
Simon
home.
now.
And I made him go home with me.
Once again, another child has to go home with Mama Mary.
Yeah, so it
gosh.
just it's the mama bear come out. And actually, after I got home, I was angrier at.
Didn't
The
you go into labor
substitute.
that night or something, or was that the next day?
That was the next day.
Yeah.
But I was angrier at the substitute teacher because I thought, you jerk.
Yeah.
You know, these guys are outside, and this is something that these guys have always done. But because you have no idea how to make applesauce out of the apples,
Yeah.
and you got a ball baby out there,
Yeah. Yeah.
let me go out there and kick the ball baby. But the lady in church said to me, she said that was the first time she'd ever seen me. And she said, you just came in there, she said, you grabbed him and put him up against the wall.
She probably thought, well, this isn't the Mary I know.
And she
She's
said,
usually so angelic like.
Yes, yes.
There's so many stories.
So many stories.
oh, so many stories of the kids. But I always protected my kids. If anybody came near my kids.
Yeah.
Didn't the bus driver call you crazy one time or something?
Oh, yes. That, well, she told me to talk loud.
Yeah, she does have to talk loud, so let her talk, let her talk.
Okay. We had an incident on the school bus. There was a particular little boy, and he was drawing pictures.
Oh no, we don't need to be talking about that one.
Well, nobody's gonna know who it is. Anyway, the 1 year, my daughter-in-law went into the school and said something to the principal about it and said, we don't want our children sitting by this little boy on the school bus. So apparently our kids weren't sitting by this little boy on the school bus. The next year, my one grandson come home and he has this picture and he's getting in trouble because it's a dirty little picture. And he said, well, so-and-so gave it to me. And he says, what do you mean so-and-so? He says, well, he's the one that drew it. So we tell the bus driver, we do not want our grandchildren sitting with this boy on the bus. And of course then we think we're too good to sit with this boy
yeah.
because this boy has to live with his grandfather, which we thought he was living with his grandmother because the grandmother was married to this guy. Here, the lady was not even his grandmother; it was the grandfather, and so the bus driver is yelling and carrying on and stuff at us.
She was crazy.
She still is.
Anyway, so it went, I mean, it went that it had to go to the school, and the school decided that they were going to have a meeting, and so they called my son and my daughter-in-law and my husband in and myself in and the bus driver and the owners of the bus, you know, and the superintendent and the principals in, and they're on this side and we're on this side. But before we had this meeting, I thought, well, I'll go up to the house and I'll talk to the lady and see if we can't calm this down a little bit. I'm
Yeah, work it out, yeah.
We're going to work it out. So I go up to her house and knock on her door and she invites me in. And we're sitting there and we're talking about it. And I says, look, we really like your grandson, you know? He was in baseball, we took him under our wings, he's a good little kid. And I said, but we just don't like the pictures he's drawing. And she said,
Oh, I
the
remember
pictures
this.
he's drawing. And we said, well, yeah, we had to go last year to the school about him drawing. She says, he would never draw anything like that. She says, get out of my house, get out of my house. She says, I knew you were nothing but a witch because you were friends with the people that used to live out in that house in front of me. And she was calling me a witch, and she said that she knew I was a witch and I was the spawn of Satan.
Oh, wow.
So as I go out, I said to her, curse you! I'm sending all the evil things to you!
You have like a little doo-doo doll?
No, I said to Tom, I have a great big cauldron.
Yeah.
I said, I want to set it out in the front yard. And I said, let's get a fake goat. I said, to make it look like we have a fake goat there. We never did it, but I told her that she was going to rot and you know
remember
where. And,
So naturally, the conversation went
well,
south.
went in the school. No, we were in the school and everything, and they kept saying, Mary, what do you want out of this? And I said, listen, bus driver had asked me for help. She said she needs help, and I says, I've gone to the school, and I said, look, she needs an aid because she had like 10 preschoolers
Yeah, there's a
on
lot
this
of little
bus.
kids on that bus.
And you know, there's no seat belts, and you've got at that time it's 3 and 4 year olds.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And they're sitting on these front seats, and my granddaughter sat right in the front one, right there where there's only like a half a thing there.
Yeah, yeah.
And she'd fall asleep, and she had fallen off like once or twice
Yeah.
when she stopped. And, you know, I said, all I want is for her to get help. Well, in the meantime, my son and my daughter and all my husband are saying, we want her fired, we want her fired, we want her fired. And I said, just get her help.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking, just get her help. She jumps up from the other side of the table and says, you happy, Mary? You're going to make me lose my job. That's all you ever wanted to do. You wanted me to lose my job. Jumps up and runs out of the room. And I said, I'm sorry, all she wants is help.
Yeah.
I said very quietly there. And I
Yeah.
thought, all she wants is help. And I
Yep.
thought I was being very nice, but I was also trying to protect those kids because most of them was my grandkids.
Yeah.
I think there was like at one point about 9 to 10 kids that got off the bus at mom and dad's.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
I mean, all
Years.
my grandkids were getting off in the evening.
There was like
and
9
then
or 10
there
of
was,
them.
there was other little kids that lived there, and
Yep.
come on, she can't watch all those little kids
I wouldn't
and,
want
and the
to.
bigger kids
No,
and stuff.
uh-uh.
And she
No.
had just asked for help.
Yep.
That would be
She
like
was
this
yelling
about
at me.
Jack.
Well, he's
Kinda
little,
the same
yeah.
thing, so-
Yeah, I don't even know if I'm gonna put them on the bus.
Yeah.
I don't
mean,
know.
This is such a little, you know.
Yeah, how
we're
do
so
they
little.
watch them? Even a normal bus. I mean, how do they really keep
Cody's
control of
bus-
them?
Cody's bus had aides.
Did they?
Oh, did they?
Which
Yeah.
they should,
Okay.
because there's so
Yeah.
many kids. How could one
So
person?
maybe that must be
And
is
that's
it a
the
new
thing that they can't get enough
I don't
people to
know.
volunteer to ride those
To do
buses
it.
in the morning.
Oh,
like that.
okay.
There's just
okay.
because there's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
I think
numerous
that was
enough
just in preschool whenever he had
When they
an
were
aide
real
on his
little.
bus.
I was gonna say, 'cause I
Not,
didn't even know
not for
about that.
kindergarten.
Well, I didn't know that this would ever happen, but Brian fell asleep on the bus. Zach started
That's
driving.
right.
Zach started driving the middle of his junior year. Brian had a habit of falling asleep. He'd put his headphones on, he'd fall asleep. So Brian, being as little as he is, he slumped down and he has his knees up on the thing and he's sleeping. So Zach got home, he calls me and he said, "Where's Brian?" And I said, "What do you mean, where's Brian?" I thought, "That's really funny, Zach." He goes, "Did he get off at Dad's?" I said, "I don't think, but let me call your dad." So I called him and he said, "No, he's not here." "What do you mean he's not on there? What? Where is he at?" And Zach goes, "Mom, I seen him get on the bus." So he's on the bus. Here, he fell asleep and the bus driver didn't realize it until she got, thank goodness she checked.
Well,
the
yeah.
bus before,
Before she got
leaving.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
We
yeah.
had no idea, and then she calls me on the cell phone and says, "I have Brian." And I'm just like, and how does this happen? You know, but
Yeah.
again,
It happened to
was
Tristan.
so little.
Remember that?
That
Happened
happened
to
to me
Tristan,
before.
it happened to
I fell
Cole.
asleep on the bus and the bus driver didn't know. I mean, Coda was on the bus with me.
Yeah. And from then she say, Nikki, let's get off
She
the
got off
bus.
and then
Yeah, she got
Yeah.
off the bus.
Yeah.
She this
That's
is
her
whenever she
sister.
rode- yeah,
Yeah.
she loves me.
Yeah.
And
Maybe
I
a loser.
woke up and we were like back in Shellsburg, so it's not like we were that far
Mhm.
from the house. But I'm just like yelling my bus driver's name from the back of the bus.
Yeah.
And she takes me home.
Yeah. Hey, I'm still here.
Aww.
That's funny.
Nikki, did you tell us any Mama Bear incidents?
No.
Do you
Yeah,
have
any?
any? Is there any time you can think of that you acted either that you had that anger or that overprotectiveness or anything like that?
I can think of a couple times. Paul and I were on the 4th of July a few years ago. We were at the Man's Choice campground with his sister and this guy that she was talking to with his daughter. And they were like, Cody and his daughter were playing out in the field, and she's a little bit older than he is and a little bit taller. And she like pushes him down. And I'm very soft spoken.
Yes.
So I'd like to think that this would happen, but if something was to ever happen, like I don't see myself being like,
Crazy
Ready
like the
to
rest
attack?
of us. Yes.
but I hope I would be that way.
Yeah.
That's just awesome.
Give yourself time, honey.
Yeah. It'll happen.
Young,
It's
so-
gonna happen. Yeah.
But I got up out of my chair so fast and was just like, don't push him. And she
Yeah.
and she was just like, sorry.
Yeah.
But
How to make you feel?
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
I'm
whatever.
weird about
Yeah.
whenever their parents are there.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause, like I don't know, I don't want to start a fight, but you're not gonna push my kid over.
Yeah.
And then in kindergarten, Cody gets off the bus one time, and first thing he says whenever he gets off the bus is, "So-and-so said he was gonna kill me."
Ooh,
I'm just
that's
like,
creepy.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And we walked back to the house. I got on the phone with the bus driver, the principal, and I told them about it. And it took like a few days, but it was all just like a misunderstanding.
Okay.
Which I figured it was, but I don't. You're not
Yeah,
gonna
that's
threaten my
nice.
kid.
Yeah.
This, this day and age anymore.
Yeah, and you can't be too careful. And I think that's it.
Well,
They're-
that's good. You
they're
haven't
both-
had many
they're
instances
both
where you
still
have
young,
had to go
so-
crazy.
You have. Remember in kindergarten there was a little boy and he told me, I remember I was 5, he told me he was gonna kill me and he picked on me in kindergarten.
Oh my.
He picked on me and I
How
remember
old was
this
he?
little kid. We were both in kindergarten.
Oh jeez.
And do you remember writing a letter in and he did not talk to me again.
Oh,
He wrote a
I
letter to
did.
the school.
I vaguely remember that. There's just been so many times.
Well, it was
I just-
traumatizing enough. She remembered.
I remember
Yeah.
this
See, that's
boy
just it. It would make
being
sense.
really like intense, like telling me he was gonna kill me and like hurt me, and I'm like, what? And
So
that
I
must
would
have gone on for a
letter
while.
to the school,
He
right?
wrote a letter to the school, and then
Yeah.
they must have handled it because he never
Yeah.
talked to me again. He was nice to me after that.
That's good. That's good.
He probably liked, or you know, how
He
boys
might
like
have.
you.
That might have been his way of liking
Yeah.
you and not knowing how to handle
Even
it.
boys in high school would do that. I had a boy in high school that would
I
bully
remember
me
that.
and bully me, and I was actually not bad looking in high school. I mean, middle school.
Middle school was
High school,
Nobody was
good in high school, I was finally out of that awkward
Yeah,
stage.
she
and
did.
this
She
boy
moved
would
on.
pick on me in chorus class, and just pick on me. And I remember one day I was like bawling because he would pick on me, and I'm like, why is this? And he was a popular boy. He was a football player. He was real cute,
Yeah.
and I just hated going to
Yeah.
his class because I knew he was gonna sit there and like stare at me and pick on me. Then a year or so later, he's like, oh yeah, I just always really liked you.
I
I'm
just
like,
always
well,
thought I
thanks.
liked him.
I'm a little too old to play these games. So.
Yeah.
I remember one time in the cafeteria, my senior year maybe, there were this group of boys that sat behind us. They were like juniors or something, sophomores, whatever. And they would just like throw stuff at our table. And this kid, he made me mad one time. And I think we were getting ready to leave the cafeteria, and I like literally jumped up and like got right in his chest.
Yeah.
He was a lot taller than I was.
Yeah.
But I got right to his chest, and I said something, I don't remember, but oh, I hated him. And then a few years later, whenever I was working at Papa John's, he was trying to hit on me or something. Like, oh, you want to hang out, or
Yeah.
you know, like, no.
No.
Like, I know
Don't you
who
remember
are.
lunch?
Yeah.
You don't remember me, but I remember you.
Oh, that's funny. Well, that I didn't get to the story about you kids being 14 running around in the car with that
Oh, the good
17-year-old
story.
girl.
Yeah.
So what it was back then was the beginning stages of cell phones, I believe. She had a cell phone, correct? Or how did I get a hold of you?
Did you call the bowling alley for me?
Well, I remember, though you guys were in the car, so
Oh, you might have called. Did I have a cell phone?
maybe. I don't know because Lindsay didn't get one until she was 16. So maybe the girl had it. Maybe I called the one girl's home and somehow I was talking.
You
To
talked to
that-
us in the car.
I talked to you in the car because I can remember that girl who was 17.
Maybe one of the other girls I was with. Maybe one of them had
Yeah,
one.
and then the little 14-year-olds in the car. So I said, once I found out you guys were running around with a 17-year-old, I told this girl that she needed to bring you home now. Well, she had a mouthy mouth on her. She said something.
Yeah, good figure.
I don't remember what it was that she said, but I made it very clear that she better have you in this driveway, else I was calling the cops. Well, sure enough, when Doug comes down with me, we see the car coming. I'm in my PJs.
And I'm in the back seat of like a 2-seater, and I'm like, oh, here she goes.
Yeah. I remember that girl sassing me when I was there. Your dad, he just had his arms around my waist, the whole way around my waist, and I'm like trying to leap into the car. Now this girl is bigger than me.
Yeah, she was.
She was bigger than me.
Whatever you were talking about.
So she was bigger than me, and I didn't care. I told Doug later.
I know exactly what you're
I
talking
said,
about.
I told Doug later, I said, thank you. Thank you for holding me back. I said, I was so angry. What if I would have beat up that kid?
You got in trouble because she was still a
She
minor.
was 17.
Yeah.
He protected me from beating up a 17-year-old.
Well, I can remember when we were on our way, and like you had called and she'd gone out to you with you, and then like she hung up the phone or whatever, and I was like, you shouldn't have talked to my mom like that. I was like, oh gosh, and now I'm nervous for her. Like when we get to the house, I'm like, you should not have talked to my mother that way.
I just told you to get out of the back seat of the
and I was
car.
like, yep, see you guys
Yeah,
later.
you better get your behind up to your room.
Thank God your mom was never home when I brought you home.
How much older are you than Kim?
Kim, how old are you, Andy?
40.
40.
Oh, that's 6 years. About 5 years.
Yeah,
Well, there was a couple times where we ran into each other and
yeah, but
Yeah,
how old?
we all had mutual friends and stuff.
I would
Yeah.
bring her home
Yeah.
before they woke up.
But that would have been when you were. Yeah, but this girl was.
It would be
No,
like,
but she was the
Or
old,
is
like
this
there
who
wasn't
I
other
think you're
people.
talking about?
Yeah, this.
Maybe. No.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Yeah, there was no
But she's
reason
older.
for this one girl to be hanging out with 14-year-olds.
She only hung out with us.
She only hung out with 14-year-olds.
Oh.
That's
weird.
different if you have a whole
Yeah.
variety.
I mean, to be fair, we were like cool 14-year-olds. I
They made
mean,
her
we
feel
were
the
pretty
youth.
cool.
Yeah.
How old was she when you
Yeah,
were
they
running
were
around?
cool. They were cool 14-year-olds. What's that?
I asked
I
how old
think I
she
was-
was when she was running around with you.
Ever since she turned 21.
Yeah, so you guys would have been
And
So
adults.
once you hit 21,
So-
then that's a like.
But it's
all
just before I had
Yeah.
Tristan.
I'm saying,
Yeah,
I
oh,
just
yeah.
wanted to make sure Tanya doesn't want to come down.
Once she's 21, it doesn't
It didn't matter
matter.
at that point.
Even if she would have been like 18 and 20.
No, I
that
would never
have
been
Yeah.
bringing her home.
Well, I just wanted to
Yeah,
make
I was
sure.
14.
Yeah, I just
yeah.
want to make sure you weren't like 15 and she was 20 and she was.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know her then.
Yeah.
No.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. So now you
We
were
just had some of the similar people we
Yeah.
talked to and hung
Yeah.
out with. and-
Kim had a lot of friends. You knew everyone.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Well, that was
You don't hang around a lot
I'm
of
not
them
talking to
anymore.
anybody now.
No, yeah.
I talk to you.
Yeah.
I was like, Mom, what are you doing on Wednesday? Are you gonna get home?
Yeah.
When you get out of the house?
Yeah. I said the last time, I said, well, I can come to your house if you
Yeah.
want. Yeah, but she needs to get out of the
No,
house.
I need to bring the baby over.
That's what usually happens. happens.
You
when
can always you
Yeah.
can always bring Yara over to the house.
I know, yeah, that's what I'll
Give
do.
Maya somebody to play with.
Yep.
Oh.
Mom's like, oh, I'll come over to the house. I'm like, it's more for me. It's not for like.
Yeah.
Don't come
Just
over
not
here.
be
I
on-
want to leave.
Yeah.
I have to get out of the house.
No.
That's on our like our late
Really?
first that I haven't left the house in like
No.
3 days. And Mom thinks it's
I
funny.
really
I'm
don't.
like, well, I'm home. I don't have a reason
Trouble
to
that
go
you had
anywhere.
to
I'm
go
gonna
through.
do back to work.
Yep.
I know her girls